We see sustainability as a concept that requires action to make the world a better place for future generations. Sustainable communities can be enriched by cultural and socioeconomic elements that enhance a healthy relationship with the environment. Educational institutions are uniquely positioned to engage the next generation in that process. As educators, we are optimistic because we frequently work with students who aspire to build a future where humans are at one with their sister and brother species. That said, perhaps we should not be too optimistic. Humanity must find a way to live at one with the natural world to avoid another mass extinction. Nevertheless, we are making progress. The United Nations has emerged as a leader in humanity's efforts to address 5 critical areas: people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership. There is greater global awareness, activism, and international cooperation, albeit it is a work in progress. International cooperation is necessary because nation-states share the biosphere. It is our global commons. Technological innovations have and should continue to help us achieve a balance with the natural world. Innovations are taking place in all sectors of our economies to provide clean energy through renewables. Carbon capture technologies are within reach, and efforts are underway to restore ecosystems. That all said, we're not there yet. The United Nations has made significant progress in its 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted by UN member states in 2015. The agenda includes 17 Sustainable Development Goals that continue to serve as a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet, now and into the future. Details on these goals are beyond the scope of this talk, but they are easily accessed at the link in this slide. The first 12 goals are to improve health and education, reduce inequality, and spur economic growth. To protect the planet while achieving these goals, we must nurture partnerships for peace and justice. And that said, we are up to the task as educators. As defined by Levin and others, climate change has become a super wicked problem. Characteristics that define a wicked problem are the following. Let's consider each of the following points one at a time. First, we cannot fully comprehend its scope. Complex systems, such as the global ecosystem, are not easily understood. Making accurate assessments takes a great deal of climate data and computational power. Second, we humans are part of the problem. We are one species among many. It is reasonable for us to think that we have a special and privileged place among our sister and brother species. Perhaps we think that we are special because of our technical skills that have enabled us to transcend environmental constraints that limit other species. That is, until now. Humanity's attempt to mitigate climate change is like trying to fix an engine from the inside while it is running. Third, we irrationally discount its urgency. Burning fossil fuels has and continues to power socioeconomic development worldwide, albeit not equitably. It is too easy to defer the difficult decisions to others and future generations. This brings us to the fourth and final point. The central authority necessary for global cooperation is limited. Here there is reason for optimism. As mentioned earlier, the United States has emerged as a leader in humanity's efforts to mitigate climate change. Their Agenda 2030 is the next example. The Inner Development Goals were officially founded in 2020 by Esqueret Foundation, the New Division in 29K Foundations, together with researchers, experts, and practitioners in leadership development and sustainability. For more information, visit the link at the bottom of this slide. The Inner Development Goals were developed in response to a need to develop the abilities and skills necessary for individuals, groups, and organizations to make the world a better place for future generations by empowering individuals to lead. This is our task as educators. Alvernia University is one of 23 Franciscan universities in the United States. Our vision is to be a distinctive Franciscan university committed to personal and social transformation through integrated, community-based, inclusive, and ethical learning. Franciscan colleges and universities are skilled at creating communities where the cultural and spiritual dimensions necessary for a sustainable future are nurtured.
One way Alvernia is clearly demonstrating this is by partnering with a nonprofit organization recently created by 5 Alvernia alumni called Sustainable Misfits, who provide adventure-based experiential learning opportunities for young adults that guide how to effectively cultivate a caring, resilient community of people who make a positive impact on others and the environment. After I had the opportunity to work on a variety of campus community projects with 4 former Alvernia students turned colleagues, we realized that a lot of people are searching to be part of something meaningful, and sometimes they need a little help finding it. That's why together, the 5 of us created Sustainable Misfits. We want to help guide people on a path towards cultivating the tools necessary to connect at a deeper level with themselves, with others, and with our natural environment. Helping to build a more sustainable community through experiential learning opportunities is at the center of what we do. The primary values of Alvernia, service, humility, peacemaking, collegiality, and contemplation, guide our efforts. When we all work together at Alvernia, our projects address topics such as food insecurity in the city of Reading, student leadership development, and community building, with a dash of adventure and fun sprinkled throughout our work. Sustainability in its entirety is at the heart of what our team works to accomplish. Along with the environmental aspect, equally important are the social, cultural, and economic components in creating a sustainable community. This same framework is reflected in our approach. Just as each component of sustainability needs to be considered when creating a more sustainable community, so too does each member of a team. The success of our team as a whole is only possible when each member feels valued, heard, and supported. The common goal of building a more sustainable community is what initially brought us together. But what is unique about our group, our magic, is that along the way, we grew to care deeply about the person to our left and right. It immediately became more about the parts, each other, and our journey together than about the sum, or the goal. We achieve our goals more fully and successfully because of the unique culture we created within our team, one that was built on trust, acceptance, and support. This unique process that our group created for reaching our goals is what we are sharing with others through Sustainable Misfits and our Sustainable Immersion program in Canada. We have run our Sustainability Immersion program in a variety of locations, including across the United States and as far south as the Dominican Republic. But an island off the coast of New Brunswick, Canada, called Grand Manan Island, is our flagship location. Only accessible by a 1.5-hour ferry ride across the Bay of Fundy, the setting is far enough and different enough from what our students experience day to day to allow them to immerse themselves in a completely new setting, one that encourages them to disconnect from modern society and the responsibilities of life at home. We always stay at an eco-retreat called Castelia Marsh Retreat, owned and operated by James Bates, who is in the red flannel in this picture with one of our student groups. James has created a sustainable paradise where you'll find tiny homes like the one picture behind the students on this slide that he has skillfully built himself. They feature composting toilets and recycled items that have been artfully incorporated into the structures, along with a central gathering place where groups can come together for meals, conversation, and workshops. What makes James's eco-retreat so special, though, is James himself. A retired sea captain, the Castelia Marsh eco-retreat became his second career. James's gentle, kind-hearted demeanor and his sustainable approach to life can be felt throughout the retreat. Our Sustainability Immersion program is based on our Sustainable Misfits framework that we developed and is shown here on this slide. First, we choose the context. In this case, with our Canada trip, we use the outdoors, including the eco-retreat, as our context for learning. We then deliver our programs using a dual approach. The first includes adventure-based group learning activities to provide the setting in which the magic of deep connection can occur. This is done through team-building activities, nature immersion experiences, and time for self-reflection. The second approach is community engagement. We cultivate a sense of community through community service activities with island organizations, participate in community events such as the farmers market, island celebrations, and other similar experiences. These are rounded off with time for group reflection. These experiences together lead to the participant outcomes for this immersion program. For this, we incorporate the recently developed inner development goals that Dr. Stober mentioned earlier. Specific skills and qualities from the 5 dimensions are assessed as participant outcomes for this immersion program. We conducted a pilot assessment for the Sustainability Immersion Program this past summer to assess the inner development goals. We used a convergent mixed method research design that included a close-ended survey and descriptive statistics for the quantitative portion, and individual interviews and thematic analysis for the qualitative portion. Of the 25 students who participated in the immersion program so far, 16 of them agreed to participate in this pilot assessment. The inner development goals consist of 5 dimensions with 23 skills and qualities as listed on this slide. The being dimension is used here as an example. It is defined as relationship to self, and the corresponding skills and qualities include inner compass, integrity and authenticity, openness and learning mindset, and self-awareness and presence. We use the Inner Development Goals framework to develop a program assessment based on the skills that the Sustainability Immersion Program addresses. Because the Inner Development Goals is an open source initiative, the framework can be used freely without permission. We decided to join the Inner Development Goals community by creating an IDG hub in our area that allows us to collaborate with other people and organizations who are also integrating the Inner Development Goals into their work. The Inner Development Goals website has a variety of resources, including a self-reflection tool that is part of its comprehensive toolkit. A sample from the self-reflection tool is included on this slide. It contains questions at the individual and the organizational level to help people and entities assess themselves on the 5 dimensions of the Inner Development Goals. Our research team took the questions for each skill and quality within each dimension on the self-assessment tool and transformed them into statements so that an assessment with a Likert scale could be created to use in our pilot study. For example, with the quality integrity and authenticity, we took the question, "In what situations do you stop being yourself?" and changed it into a statement, "I have a good understanding of the situations in which I stop being myself." This resulted in 4 to 5 statements for each of the 5 dimensions to create a close-ended survey for our participants to complete as part of the quantitative portion of the pilot assessment. Based on the results for the quantitative portion of the study, over 65% of the participants indicated that they strongly agreed with the statements for all 5 Inner Development Goal dimensions. Relating, which is caring for others in the world, came out the strongest, with 82% indicating that our immersion program was successfully addressing ways to care for others through the activities that we offer. This was true for the other 4 dimensions, with the exception of collaborating, where 3% of the participants were neutral towards these statements, indicating that although our program overall is addressing ways to collaborate by demonstrating and practicing social skills, there is room to improve in this area. Because this pilot assessment only included 16 participants, the results are not statistically significant and are not generalizable. The research team plans to pilot this assessment with a larger participant pool this coming year. To ensure that the statements within each dimension consistently measure its respective dimension, the next step will be to conduct a Cronbach's Alpha to measure internal consistency. Overall, our team was reassured by the results, for they indicate that our Sustainability Immersion Program is in fact teaching the necessary skills and qualities to help students develop their inner resources that will lead to cultivating a caring, resilient community who can help to effectively address the wicked problem of sustainability.
We developed a community engagement model for reflection by students and faculty as we engage with our communities. The framework is modified here for the purposes of this presentation. The vertical arrow represents students entering our educational programs as novices, on their way to becoming experts. The horizontal arrow represents tensions that emerge as we, students and faculty, are exposed to competing perceptions of how we should address the challenges we face. As educators, we're skilled at engaging students in clinical or actual settings. That's the lower left quadrant. Internships, community engagement, Experiential learning, project-based activities, service learning, and nature-based activities, to name a few, are our methods. As students become experts, we anticipate they're taking on the role of designing or creating solutions, the upper left quadrant. Shared perceptions make this relatively routine, but different perceptions can confound the process. Examples are numerous if one considers the state of the world today. As educators, we are optimistic because we frequently see our students recognize wicked problems without becoming disillusioned early in their experiences. That's the lower right quadrant. Reflecting on wicked problems in the context of Franciscan education is an opportunity to critique structures and systems that govern our lives and our relationship with the natural world. That's the upper quadrant. This is our task as educators.